This is day 261 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored for the success in Parnasa of his brother Josh, Yoshua Eli ben Chana Fagel, by Reb John Abraham. If you would like to sponsor a upcoming shir or more of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Kuf Ein Tes Sivav to Kuf Pei Siv Gimel. Yivav. Yearly the Havlam and Nebrech. Anyway, so that's Shadim Ba Bai Sheino Mash Lechol. From a Shiesh Lo Ma Lechol. By that Leg Rasuda. That is saying let's bench is not considered to be a distraction when it only was stated because the Baal Bais thought there's nothing else coming. And then they told him that there is something else coming. And the meal has not yet finished yet. The Habi Hesra Das Batos, it's a mistaken distraction. It's like that term, Hesra Das Batos. The Uleya Dazeh, where you had them know what was coming. Layomer Havlam ben Barak would not said, let's bench. For the Hami Tams that ain't Aminos Arel Klum. For this reason, the statement of the guest is nothing. Because he relies on the table of the Baal-Bas. He doesn't know if the meal is completed or not. He can't go Baal-Bais can. So that's the case. Even Baal-Bais is that. We may say he is totally Badas Ishto. Okay. His wife, the wife is really who determines when the meal is over. King to a guest in an inn who pays money. And they said, let's bet. He said, let's bet you'll do sheesh o malechol. They don't know. There's another course. Have a heschadas totes. It's also heschadas, which is mistaken. But havkuk shomar bal bais neither li lechol od av sheesh o malechol have a heschadas. It's only complete until heschadas with the bal bais decided, even there more food coming out, I'm finished. We're done. We're going to bench. Below now where it was based on a mistaken premise, the keno rech, and so to the guest. He says in brackets here, Kenya and his title, this you'll be time of a duke. Makes sense. Look at the logic, etc. Zayin, Kasra Rabbeinu Beisetziv Dalet. Hanichnos Beisach Rabbeinu. B'yesham Chaburos Harbei Shochlim. You come to your friend's house and they're eating in groups. B'locha Moshe Lokos. Each one extends a cup. Chaim with us. Those who say Shabbat, I'll call Echo Bar Priya Gofen. And each cup from each group he says Bar Priya Gofen. Ki b'chol pa'amunim because each time he's changing his mind. Ad kan l'shono. That's in the quote from the Beis Yosef. Klomar, shenichlas inyan acher. That's when you come in for a different reason, and then they invite you to sit with them. But if you have in mind, you came in to sit and drink in the room, you only make a bracha on the first cup. So I guess each time, it came for a specific issue. Perhaps even, I think also it would mean with a specific one of these groups. So when you go to the other groups, you have to make a new bracha. It's not just with a cup. Do I think in those Lomina Machel, Gamke, they give him food, other food also. Gamke didn't came. So also Alocha. It's just the normal way of a normal case. That's what people normally do. People recline there, they give a cup for drinking. Yes, because those who write that feel even if you didn't finish drinking the first cup of shitlo kosheni and they extend to a second cup, the tzarich levarach, you must make a bracha. In fact, there's a machlekes about this. It's going to be explained Simon Reish Vav, B'siyata di Shmaya. He says here the Bagan Abraham, there's the Toos Hatfus and the grip. When the Gilliam wants to fix it, but it's not compelling, etc. None of this would make sense to us unless we see it inside. The Mishnah Berurah writes that when you consider nimlach, if you go from group to group, that's just bestam. By the time you bracha, in other words, you had in mind specifically at das that the bracha works to everything that they give you. Because don't make a bracha, and each time you go to a new chabura. Even if you didn't know they were going to give you more cups, and a place that the places where many guys said they give lots of cups, many people demand l'chaim, but the percent is comes in. Then we say even b'stama is dases and everything you're going to give them. Nevertheless, it's best, and you only make one bracha. No, it's best to have in mind specifically that your one bracha is going to work for all of them. Mishnah Berurah also paskins that when you they give you the second cup in the middle of your drinking the first cup, which you didn't have das on, okay, you have to make a bracha, which is fascinating. It's an amazing concept. You're in the middle of drinking a cup, and you had a cup in it, and they bring you another cup, and you're still going back to the first cup. Make a bring off on the second cup. Is that amazing? Okay. Ches. Hey. Some people were invited to the Baal Bais house to eat fruit. And they bring the fruit one after another. Answer the bracha ala rishon. Let me make a bracha on the first fruit. First one they bring to them. I'm going to show that's the end of the quote from, I guess, the Beis Yosef. They rely on the table of the Baal Bas. And their intent is for everything the Baal Bais gives them. But it's not like a shamish has to make a bracha each time he comes to eat something, which they extend him. Should tell he has to make a bracha every time. The shamish, it's not normal for him to eat when the other people are eating. Therefore, he only has in mind whatever he's getting right now. I guess the other Baal Bais give him more food. And the evidence is that because also by a shamish, it was clarified there. When there's a person of stature in the meal, he doesn't have to make a bracha on every piece he has. Because he knows since there's a person of stature there, they're going to give him. Ayin Sham. It's certainly true about guests. Those argue, they say only if the guest knows with certainty that the Baal Bas is going to give him more, that he doesn't have to make a new bracha. But he's unsure he doesn't have to make a bracha, as the Taz. The Arukh HaShulchan rejects this. Says, for ain't okay, it's not true. The answer to this Bori Eitz Arech. Bori B'Shema, La Bori Odi. If he doesn't have to be Bori, even if it's Shema, it's good enough. I guess he has a chazaka of being an eichel. So therefore, Motzei Chaber Love Araya. It's Rosh Chodesh Hadar today, so. At least I made myself laugh. In the primary halachas like Beis Yosef, that he doesn't make other brachos. The brackets he says, Gamaliel Rabbis, if Kon Chesed Sigalov, Gamaliel Rabbis does not like the Taz, Chen Ksav Berhetim, Shem Bi'aron, also doesn't like the Taz, Gam Pri Megadim, Ein Dato Noach Mizay, Shem also doesn't like the Taz, Bika Maj Samach Al Doicha, Gloshen Al Tois Sham, Bedibur Maskal Ataka Sheni, and that which was the Taz relied on some Loshen and Toises, Faruga B'Tois Kogan. Tois has been amended properly. Umash Beis Yosef and Sham, B'Tulo Midi V'Duk. Okay, test. Ochakol Machav Locha Melech. So we're in the last sif in the Siman, and this is the last sif about eating during the meal. So therefore, he throws in Kedarkoi, a bunch of other relevant but halachos. Like how's it go that since a few small halachos, you bundle them together. Test. If you eat any food, you don't eat salt. Shasko mashke b'lo shasamai. If you drink any beverage, don't drink wine, water. But during the day you should be afraid of bad breath, and the night you should be afraid of two things. Because of the bad breath, and because of a suffocating disease. We're not sure exactly what it is, some sort of croup type disease. It's a disease which suffocates the throat. Somebody eats salt after he eats, he should not eat with his thumb, the kosher kibur bani, because chas v'sholom that causes his children to predecease him. Lo bezeres, nor with the zeres, which is the middle finger. Kosher yils is chas v'sholom kosher of poverty. Lo be'etzba, and not with the index finger, kosher shchin ra, because it's bad for shchin, for boils. So in the Eliyah Rabbah, I'm not sure where all this comes from. It's not, certainly not in the Gemara. I don't think you have to teach this. If you don't come having Chrome crosses or Arukh HaShulchan, I don't think you would have to taught this and be mefaris in this. But rather with the amma and with the kmitza, the two lower little fingers. I think I'm right about that. I'm not sure about the amma and kmitza. I think the zeres is this finger. Okay, let's check this out. No, so I was wrong. The thumb is the godel. That's true. The etzba is the pointer. The amma is the middle finger. The kmitza is the ring finger. And the zeres is the little finger. And that's the zeres, because the zeres actually is like that, from the little finger to the thumb. Kmitza, because that's where you wipe, the end of the kmitza, you wipe off any, if you're Kohen, you wipe off anything, any flour or whatever it is which comes out of those three fingers. The amma is because you measure the amma from the elbow to the top of the middle finger. That's by because it points, and the good, of course, is the thumb, which grows on its own. So again, if you're going to be Mekayim this Arukh HaShulchan, you should eat. You should only eat your salt after the meal, with the amma and the kmitza, with the middle finger and with the ring finger. Money, and this is a segula, obviously something which is not necessary, not based on actual health or reasons or anything of that from this world. Based on the Masorah which they had. Answer bracha al zeh, and you don't need to make a bracha on this salt either. Came into the zel rakla for ba'am, just what we're having for the purpose of health. We're not concerned with this. Because our bread always has salt in it, so we're going to do that. Tavshil shel yesh ma'ita, we also relate to with the water, which is always in our cooked dishes, so we don't need anything separate. Mishnah Berurah adds that in our day and age, you don't have to be makir anyway, because nishtano tibim, because we see they don't have effect. So we actually, Mishnah Berurah took it not as an Indian seguli, but as a health matter, but that's not relevant. Bisman hazeh. Finally, his b'ayis of substitute kuf ayin sham. V'adam b'gmar sham amakva chilas b'mayim. Somebody who floats his eating with water, his food and water in his stomach, he doesn't get stomach ailments. Somebody who eats lentils every 30 days, once every 30 days, so he prevents that suffocating illness from his house. But not every day the kosher because it gives one a bad odor from one's mouth. Somebody's accustomed to have mustard once every 30 days, so it removes illness from his house in general illness. I will call yom alo, but not every day, the kosher day, because it's bad for the heart. But somebody who eats small fish, he doesn't come to stomach ailments. Not only this, mafrin umarbin, allow a person to be more fruitful and multiply more. And they bring health to the entire body of a person. Somebody who's accustomed to the smell of ketzach, anybody they cave lave. But he should not eat the ketzach, the kosher goof, because it's bad for the body. I believe we're talking about caraway. But between on the bread time you bake it, that's the rye with seeds, and then you should move it. So you only have the smell left. Ketchup is Rashi Naila. The word Naila is, Rashi says we don't know. But for Archis, it's Kimmel, which is caraway. But Yesh those things have 11, some people put caraway in their bread. But Yisa begin, it says three things cause the person's body's strength to be sapped. Achamuma, to eat standing, V'shasmu, to drink standing, V'chuli, etc. Therefore, I think which bring you closer to death than to life. Elohei, and these are they. Achav Amad Techef, you eat and you stand immediately. Shasav Amad, you get string and stand immediately. He gets Dam Amad, if you have bloodletting, you stand immediately. Yasham Amad, if you were sleeping, you stood up immediately. Shish Mitaso, if you had relations, Vamad, you stood up immediately. Risham Adchak Yakum Ayin Sham. Rather, you should wait a few moments and then rise up. Chayes Shabbos, so Perach Yuches, Ayin Sham. Kufpe. Lukot apurim me'apashlis pazul oretz, to gather the crumbs from the bread, it should not spread on the ground. Aleph. Ein l'sir mapa ba'alechem arachar b'chas mos. You're not supposed to remove the tablecloth and the bread until after benching. But the mashal brachos shu misakim v'shulchan kol mosh b'chas mozon. The average it seems that brachos used to move the tables before benching. Zeh b'nei shkol echad b'achar b'shulchan kotam b'nei atzel. That's because each one ate in a small table on his own. And they move those little tables before people were reclining on them, but not in front of the person who was making But we who all eat at one table, you shouldn't remove it, and even at the table go until after benching. That's in some places they leave the bread and the cloth in front of the person who makes the bracha. To resemble that which is done in their day. Base. The time will show ever why. Bracha does not evolve in something which is empty. We find Lisha in the Shunamis. The bracha was only took effect on oil which she had in the house. So says it also says Abraham doesn't leave bread on his table. He doesn't see any blessing. The Zohar says also a person not allowed to bench on an empty table. The bracha said the Elah because the bracha from on high lo shara basari kanya does not evolve in a place where it is empty. V'chein hu b'zohar truma ayin sham. Kasar says do not bring a whole loaf of bread and put it in a shulchan and bring it on the table. If you must okay, because if you do that, looks like the people who set a table for their luck, which is a form, either form of avodah zarah or form of darkei moiri. Shaman Rabbi Yeshaya. The dafka lohavi also that's specific to bring. But initially there was a whole loaf on the table. Answer class 0, you don't have to remove it. Therefore on Shabbos when the second chal lechem mishnah is on the table, I have not seen people being makbid on this, but they shouldn't take it from the table. The crumbs are going to be anyway. If there aren't crumbs anyway on the table, bring crumbs from elsewhere. Yov says there's no remainder for your food, the good will not come upon you. From this, the Chazal darshan you should leave on a piece of bread on the table. Also from here, it seems that the leftover should be crumbs. That's what it means, something which remains. Mishnah Berurah says that no crumbs on the table you're allowed to bring even a pash shlema. And the Zohar says evidently that it's the chatchila if they're to bring a whole loaf at that time. There are no crumbs. Mishnah Berurah brings down the Avram writes that if there's a whole bread on the table, you should not bring crumbs. Wrote that the same thing is true, that you should not leave crumbs when there's a sholem there. So it's either or. Some people are mako that you don't have to remove it, especially in Shabbos. You don't have to remove it until after benching, whether neither the crumbs nor the whole bread. Everyone knows for covered Shabbos, it's there. That's why it's there. There's some reasons to leave the bread. It should be ready and waiting for a person when he comes. Also thank Kosh Baruch on his kindness and goodness that we were able to be satisfied and still leave over. Leave over. And also that making thank Kosh Baruch and that he created food for all his creatures. And also that Hashem's blessing should be stored on this table. This house. Like we say, Hashem should send much blessing in this house. And this table which we eat it. As he said in the previous, and we said, like we said in the previous, if you need for something in which the bracha should take effect, he says, okay? Sharatzin says, according to this, it's best that the crumbs should not be very small. Because according to the reason that you're supposed to be able to give to an oni. It's very small, it's not something you're going to give to an oni, so crumbs would probably mean something less than a kazayas, but not tiny particles.